Hello and a warm welcome back to the WenDirkCast with me, Jimbo. As always, we will be discussing the Let MFL updates, transfers, developments, and so much more that has gone on over the last week or so. One important note before we kick off the episode, as we always like to say, none of what we chat about is financial advice. Do your own scouting or hire a director of metaverse football. Now, in the studio with me today, I have a manager who has so kindly and generously offered up his time to come into the studio last minute. It's been a very, very busy week for me, IRL. For those interested, I'm now officially a homeowner as of Friday. So there's that, which is great. So my week has been very busy. And usually I'm very prepared with my guests weeks in advance. And it got to Saturday and I went, so who have you got on tomorrow then, Jimbo? And I went, I don't think I have. So I put out a cry for help, a call for arms. And this individual was like, Jimbo, get me on. I can come on. And I was doing a bit of research. Turns out he's also Dutch. So it's basically, bringing Calver back. And he has amazing hair as well. So it's basically Calver. So, but welcome into the studio, young Erik. How you doing, sir?
Hello. I'm doing fine. My team, PSV, have won this weekend. All the other rivals have lost this weekend. So we've basically won the league already. So I'm celebrating that.
Oh, really?
Right now. Well, with 6 points clear, that's more than enough.
Before Christmas?
Yeah, it's
6 points clear. Oh, that might come to bite you a bit. It might be a bit early.
No. This season, it's easy.
Okay, we'll clip this, and then in May, April, when the season's finished, if PSV haven't won the league, then you might look a little bit silly. But
No.
we've got young Erik in the studio with us. We're going to do a manager spotlight on him. So second half episode, we'll ask him how he got into MFL, his takes on how his season 9 went, his expectations for season 10, a few other little bits and pieces. And obviously we'll have him in for the dev updates and just the general thoughts on MFL over the last week or so. Before we do fly into those weekly updates, a couple things we have to tick off housekeeping-wise. It's a pack drop stream on Wednesday, I think was really, really great. I thought the vibes in there were amazing. Some of the previous drops, it felt like sometimes, say, like some of the quiz numbers or just the people in the chat seemed a bit lower than usual, but it actually seemed for this season 10, things were great. And congrats to SR Monkey David for finally getting a legendary player in one of his packs. I believe it was a limited pack, which he got an upgrade on. And I know for the ramble, for weeks, months, or basically a year now, they've said, we're going to get a legendary player. And lo and behold, on stream, he shared his pack and he ripped the legendary player. So I'm very happy for David. Young Erik, I know you took part in the stream because I'm pretty sure you won some MFL in the quiz, right?
Yeah.
But did you buy any packs on Wednesday?
I bought one limited pack. I couldn't resist myself once again.
Did it go well? Did you get any decent players in it?
I got a 61 rated center mid, 22 years old. Like he fitted into my second club, so that was nice. I needed the center mid. The comment is I don't know. It's
you don't
forgettable
care.
Player.
Yeah, we don't care. But no, that's a good age on a player. And especially when you pack someone and they can go straight into a squad. That's a nice feeling because sometimes you get a player, we always pick on the wing backs here. You get a wing back and you're like, well, I can't even use this player. What am I going to do with him? To send him to the marketplace. But then who's going to buy who's going to buy a wing back? Maybe Fraj, maybe a few others who run 5 at the back. But I've been told I can't slander 5 at the back much. Because Zuta said to me a couple of weeks ago, no one wants to buy my wing backs, Jimbo. Can you please stop saying it has a bad reputation on your pods? Because maybe that's why. Well, clearly not. But I will stop my slander.
To promote 5 at the back more, I think. It's modern football. Yeah.
See, I play the 3 at the back, which I just think is just a better version of a 5 at the back. So, when fluid formations, when can we have fluid formations? That could even be an early hashtag. When can we have fluid formations? So we had the pack drop stream. We've also had the big announcement this week of the season 10 holiday heroes, where there is 10,000 dapper dollars up for grabs in this Masters tournament. If you don't make it into the Masters tournament, which the qualifiers are happening over the season 10, you've got the Classic tournament. And then on top of that, we've got the wheel. The wheel is back. So for every win you get during these sort of like tournaments, you get to spin the wheel. And like we did previously with the wheel this time last year for Breakaway, I will be hoarding as many as I can with my 3 clubs. And we'll be just on one stream at the end of the season, just doing all the spins at once. Because that's much more fun than doing it once a day. Although it does test your patience and discipline. Sat there with 30, 40, however many tickets, and you can't spin the wheel. For those wondering, the dapper dollar amount does get split by rev share as well. So if you have 5% on a team and they win $100, you do get $5. So that's something to think of, which is quite nice. And the final bit of news is that we finally have a WenDirk Community Club. I had a trial club last season and people really helped out with that. So I thought, you know what? Let's season 10. It's a nice round number. Let's hit it up with a WenDirk Community Club. So it's called WenDirk MFC in the city. Well, you might not call it a city, YungErik, because you're a Dutchman. It's in the town of. I pronounce it Dordrecht. I don't know how should it be pronounced.
Dordrecht. It's just below Rotterdam. It's a small city, I would say. Yeah.
Okay, I did look at it on Google Maps and thought, oh, that looks a little bit small to be classed as a city. But yeah, you're not right. You're not wrong. Not too far from Rotterdam. So we've got a Dutch Flint license at the very bottom of the pyramid, and we're going to work our way up as high as we can get. There's 2 rules though to the players. They have to be Dutch, or they have to be called Dirk. So at the moment, I think we've got, of all the players, we've got 2 called Dirk. They're both German. It seems that a lot of the Germans are called, a lot of the Dirks are from Germany. And there's only a couple that are Dutch. So we've got quite a few players. So thank you to everyone who's already offered up players. We've got a couple of low on commons to limiteds to commons. We're giving a flat 4% rate for all managers. So to keep things fair. That means if there's 25 players, obviously, use up all 100%. And we'll see how far we can go up the pyramid. I'll be managing for season 10, hopefully getting us out with Flint. Be disappointed if I can't. But then after that, I'm thinking about it, and I probably will. I'll let the community manage it for a season as well. So someone wants to go, oh, I really want to manage it. YungErik, if you want to go, I really want to manage the WenDirk MFC. We can put it out there and we can give the club to you for a season and you can manage it and have fun with an extra club. So, and obviously you've got the Ramble with theirs. You've got Yorkshire Tier and XP have theirs. The Ramble have actually quite a few. You've also got, I believe, Jacob in MFC Deutschland, the German podcast. Today I saw announced a community club. So maybe we can get like a little bit of a community club rivalry. Maybe get in the same leagues. That'd be quite interesting. So if you have any Dutch players or players called Dirk, which I definitely didn't go onto the marketplace, buy a player called Dirk. And someone else even messaged me and went, Jimbo, there's a player literally on the marketplace called Dirk, and I'll come up. It was like a 67 rated centre-back for $3 who's 28. I went, yeah, do you know what? $3, name's called Dirk. He hits the criteria, bang, get him. So he's in the club. So any players called Dirk or Dutch, let me know. Bring him into the WenDirk MFC squad. Right. Weekly updates. Bit hard to say how's our week's been because there's been no matches, but it's a lot of preparation. YungErik, for you and your clubs, how has this week been preparing for season 10?
Well, it was quite easy. It's already spoilers for the spotlight, but I sold one of my. I had 3 clubs last season. I sold one, and now I'm playing with 2. So I already had set out my 2 squads. I do that beforehand. Mm-hmm. And then just try to loan out everyone else, which for the commons was quite a task. I don't still think everyone has been loaned out yet. Well, quite easy. I changed my tactic for one of the teams, which I'm very scared about because I used like a 3 at the back as well, and I changed it to a 4-1-2-1-2,
Ooh, okay.
Played a couple of friendlies, but I'm not sure about it. But I think I have to just stick with it now because I just created a squad for a 4-1-2-1-2.
If you have, I guess it's best if you have centre backs or left and right backs that can also play centre back, because then you can swap them. But I'm in a similar boat where I have a 3-5-2-B, and I'm fortunate that I have a right back who can play centre back and loses no, like, he gets a -1 obviously, but he still is an 84 rated player. And I just have a left back who's only a left back, and he maybe gets like 5 games a season. Just want to play 4 at the back, because sometimes it's quite nice to swap between 3 and the 3 and the 4. Did I just say 5 at the back? Did I say 4 at the back?
4, 3.
I said 4 at the back. Yeah, I feel like I just said 5 at the back, and I hope I didn't say 5 at the back. I didn't mean to say that if I did. But yeah, so your clubs, do you? I mean, it's kind of spoiling the spotlight, but we can say it anyway. Do you own all the players in them? Do you loan many players in?
For this season, I think I've loaned in 1 or 2 players for my ice club, just to fill up the gaps in my squad. There are also players without number of games played, because I didn't want the pressure on playing them. I made the mistake too often that I loaned in a player for like 20 games in a season, and I just was forced to play him. So just to fill up the gaps, and for rotation purposes, I've loaned in a couple of players, but it's basically all of my own players.
Yeah. It's a nice spot to be in, owning all your players, because if you do need to go to the loan market, I feel like you can be a bit more aggressive with the percentage you can offer, because, if you're having to sacrifice 40% to get in like 7 players, but if you need to bring in 1 big player, you can go, right, I can do 5%. I own all the, I don't mind giving up 5%. So that's quite nice. My second club, I own all but about 3 of the players, I think, and I can sort of like, loan in quite a nice few players, because I can just offer more to them. And just we're definitely going to spoil your manager spotlight, but the 2 clubs you have a let me come back to you have a I thought you did have a Dutch license. You didn't.
No.
You have a Saudi Arabia and a I can't even, do you know how to pronounce that location?
Buradia. I've never heard of the place in my life. I just imagine there's a lot of money in the club. So yeah.
The Oilers. Actually, Irwin's Army, and then Irwin's Chocolate Chips from Melbourne.
Yeah, that's my main club. Actually, the only club I've been to Melbourne. That's why it's my main club, basically.
Oh, nice, so, yeah. nice. Is there a location MFL for where you live in the Netherlands, or is there somewhere near?
Yeah, it's the city I live in right now is in MFL. What's
okay?
Nijmegen, it's called.
Yeah.
The town I've been growing up in is not. It's like too small. Like.
Oh, okay.
I wish it would be in something. Have
you tried to get that Dutch license for the one that
Yeah, I've looked at on the market this window. There's one on the market right now, a club from like not a fresh license but a club, but it's like $90 for a Spark club, and that's with the current market. It's just not valuable.
Maybe if they have a Discord or a Twitter, you could maybe say, "Oh, please, can you lower the price? Will you accept lower?" I think I ended up buying our Flint license. I think it was like $65, probably a bit too much for a Flint license. And there was a couple of other. There was like an Amsterdam for someone listed for like $2,000.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I was like, I'm not going to go up there and try and offer and lower that down. I was like, right, it's going to be community club. Let's just pay $65. The club's name was Rusty Spoons, which I think is a bit of a weird name, and it had a background, so I was like, I've got to get rid of that straight away. Speaking about backgrounds, by the time you're listening to this, you will now have to pay for kit changes and logo changes. So the 24th of November is when the changes come into effect. So, folks, hopefully you've made enough changes. You've changed your kits, you've changed your logos, and you're happy with them. Because otherwise, you could do it from now. You've got to pay a bit of MFL to do so, unless it's a club you buy off the marketplace and you then get one fresh or one free try of making those or rebranding in the kits. With that being said, YungErik, have I just reminded you to go make any changes, or are you happy with your kits and your logos you've got?
No, I'm happy with it for now. Well, yeah, the logos are fine. I don't think I will ever change them.
My man.
Yeah. The kits, well, I think are okay. I try to theme it around like the chocolate chip club. They are like a mint green shirt because it matches the mint green of the chocolate, like the mint chocolate chip ice cream.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it's based on. So I try to
Is that your
replicate.
favorite? Is that your favorite ice cream?
It is, especially the one in a certain ice cream spot in Melbourne. That's like a fond memory for me.
I'm glad you said that. Well, I've not been to this. I've not been to Melbourne, but I do. I'm a big fan of mint choc chip as well. Although my girlfriend says it tastes like toothpaste, so she hates it and I love it. So, I mean, I anything mint, I'm a big fan of.
Me
So
too.
I'm maybe. Have you got a nickname for the fans, like the ultras? Have they got a no? Because I want to be part of the. I want to be part of the ultras now, supporting the chocolate chips.
I've never really thought of it. The chips or the mints or the after eights can also be a.
Oh,
yeah.
That feels like that. Yeah, like one of the. Because I know a lot of teams, they have sort of like groups of particular fans, not ultras, but like just different sort of like groups. So some of them are like paid groups. I know I've got a friend who lives in Vigo, and he has like a group. There must be about 50, 60 members. They have their own bar they go into before games, and they have like, certain events on for only those group of fans. Maybe the After Eights is one of those sort of like paid memberships for Irwin's chocolate chips. I think maybe, yeah, I maybe have to think about my clubs for that. Some like elite memberships for fans. But coming back to your week, if you had to rate it on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being it's been the most amazing week possible in MFL for you, and 1 being the worst, what number would you give it?
I guess a 7 or something. It was a very regular week. I've just it didn't do that much to be honest. Like it most of it has stayed the same except of just moving one club on and basically moving the clubs from players from that club to my main club now, the Melbourne club. And moving the clubs from the players from the Melbourne club to my Flint club in Saudi Arabia. That's basically what I've done.
I think a 7 is probably what I could have expected. Yeah. I feel like that's, unless someone's having a really bad time and I can't fill my clubs, or then 7's probably the way to go. My week quickly, we had the WenDirk Cups this week. Well, they're currently going on, the 85 cap and the 75 cap. Me being me, as I always am, I always enter with the Wyverns to make sure that registration works. Then I forget that my lineup isn't meeting the conditions of the tournament. So I ended up forfeiting my first 3 games. No, I forfeited the first 2, sorry. I then made changes to make sure I was in the rules, but I forgot 1 player. It was an 84 CDM, but he's playing in his secondary position. He's an 86 centre back, and I completely forgot about that because it's my first season using this player. It's Duff Apollo Sports Group. He's kindly loaning me the player, and I completely forgot he's actually an 86 by primary. So I forfeited the 3rd game. I then won 2 of the games, and I've somehow got out of the group 2nd place on goal difference after forfeiting my first 3 games. But it's, I'm not sure how I've done it because my goalkeeper's like a 79 rated goalkeeper. That's, it's quite a big drop off for me. I think an 86 is my default, and a 76 or whatever, 78, 79 is my secondary. But we made up the group stage, and I've pretty much got all my clubs sorted, I think. I've got a couple of players. I need 1 more CDM for the Wyverns, and then we're pretty much set. I've been giving up more MFL than I've done in any other season for the Wyverns because I just want to get out of bronze now. To the point where Fraj and Bruce's little bingo card for the year has the Wyverns, just Jimbo gets top 4, which I think is an absolute disgrace. That's last season it was Jimbo wins a club trophy. We did that, and now it's Jimbo. The Wyverns make top 4. I think that's an absolute slander to my club, and the Verns will be keen to, put the pundits in their place. That's the Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher with their predictions. We're going to make sure that the Wyverns show them up. So I'll probably go for a 7. I'll probably go for a 7 as well. So out of 20, 14. Good football number that. Right, let's come on to the dev updates. And there's quite a fair size dev update. So sit back and relax, folks. Here's our weekly dev update from Mr. Yax. The engine. As mentioned in previous updates, we're keeping the exact same engine for the new season. No changes at all. Yax did message me this week and went, by the way, Jimbo, there are no changes to the engine. Because I think I was saying, I hope that the goalkeeper behaviour gets implemented. No, it's not. So let's see what happens there. First watch along on Wednesday, first goal, keeper comes out, probably just passes it into his own net, something like that. No, I'm sure it won't happen, but I kind of would like to have seen the goalkeeping behaviour being included into the engine, because there's been, especially towards the back end of last season, I saw maybe far too many, especially in the Diamond Division, which, Bob, I'm sorry. Work continues on audio improvements and the call for the ball logic for the future engine version, which is interesting. The new fees, as we literally mentioned, they're being implemented on Monday. Roll of a day started. All ain't good. The Christmas 2025, a full month of festive fun. On the operational side, several improvements are being put in place. Automatic distribution of competition rewards. That's a big one. Anything can be automated. And people go, when's my MFL? When is it coming? If they can just send it straight away, lovely. Ability for a competition to automatically qualify clubs into another. I guess that's part of this whole, you do the qualifiers for the Masters and you go into it. Restricting clubs from registering to competition if they already registered elsewhere. And more. ... What is the more? The new UI. Good progress on the new UI overhaul. Both the drops and scouting pages now almost complete. Very interesting. The other technical stuff. General performance improvement to speed up the app and lower server costs. Lovely jubbly. Several bug fixes, including a fix for purchase transactions so the new player image displays correctly. And then the biggest piece of news, I think, happy to welcome a new member to the MFL team. Jack has recently joined the team on the marketing side. So welcome, Jack. Welcome to the team of MFL. His introduction, let's read it out here quickly. Hello, everyone. Nice to meet you. I'm thrilled to join the MFL team and to help on the side of marketing. To introduce myself briefly, the gaming industry is what truly drives me. FIFA, Age of Empire, and Battlefield will always have a special place in my heart. I've been playing BF6 recently. I'm a big fan of the game as well. When I was younger, I quickly fell in love with creating acquisition funnels through creative, performance-driven marketing. Fancy stuff. After gaining experience, I launched with a friend a gaming/betting platform on FIFA called Winners. This platform evolved into a mobile app that now has 1.3 million members. Wow, that is quite unbelievable. We grew the concept through several channels, influencers, advertising, and partnerships. Later on, I moved into Web3 at Oxia. I'm going to guess that's pronounced Oxia, where I joined as CMO, driving the brand side and the acquisition. What I liked about MFL is the gameplay, the logic behind creating your club and managing strategies. I was very pleasantly surprised. The implementation of blockchain makes sense and makes the project exciting and fun. MFL has great strength. I'm really excited and motivated to keep MFL growing together. Love that. Have a great day. PSG, no shock to anyone. He's a big PSG fan. I feel like that must be part of the criteria to join an MFL team. Do you support PSG? Yes. Shake my hand. You're in. Matt just shakes their hand there and then. That is the biggest piece of criteria. Are you a PSG fan? He did put please be kind about it though. Farmers League, big club in a Farmers League. So I'm going to leave it at that. YungErik, any thoughts on any of the dev updates? Do you read them each week?
Each week, probably not. But like I take like a glance of it. Like I quickly skim it through it. Sometimes it's a bit more than other weeks, of course. So now with the engine not changing, I thought like, well, I don't really have to look at with that, and I have to think about it for my tactics. Just keep the same. I just saw it. Well, I read it this week also for this podcast. So, yeah, I've nothing that special. I think the tournament is really nice, of course, and that things getting improved, but no big shocks, I think.
Yeah, I think I agree. I think it's the new UI stuff is interesting. I know that they won't release photos of it early because things will still be changing. It says this drops the scouting pages are now almost complete. When they do become officially complete, if they can categorize it as that, I'd love to see like a little sneak peek. Just drop a screenshot in there of like half of it or like a blurred section of it. A bit of speculation. Let us sort of have a bit of fun and look at some new screenshots of some of the new pages because we all not everyone likes reading. A lot of people just like looking at pictures and pretty videos. I think we can all agree on that. So talking about speculation, I tweeted about this earlier. So I was scrolling on Instagram, as you do, scroll. MFL advert pops up. I was like, oh, MFL advert, look at this. Front and center of the MFL advert was a legendary pack being opened. And I went, hang on. Legendary packs haven't been sold in drops since late summer 2024. I was like, is this a sign that legendary packs might be coming back to the market, to the pack drops? I'm not sure, but I would like to speculate. But I was thinking, if it's not, is that advert a true reflection of the game if you can't buy legendary packs? I don't know. Maybe that's me being a bit with my scrutiny cap on. But if you can get legendary packs and drops, people think that getting rare packs are tough sometimes. Whoa. Wait till you see a legendary pack. For those who want a scary trip down memory lane, when legendary packs were first released in the first drop back in June 2022, they were the price of a rare pack now. $149.99. I think they went up to about $399, $299 before they stopped them. But yeah, I'm not going to get you to tell us all your history of MFL because that's for the spotlight. But were you playing MFL when you could buy legendary packs still?
No. I'm a.
So you've never witnessed it. So those Lego packs they may have changed it towards the end, but they used to have 5 players in them. They may have changed that to 3 as well, but I'm pretty sure it was 5. Lego. This is back before we didn't have limiteds back then, so it would have been. Was it 5? Was it 4? It might have been 4. 4 makes sense. Lego rare, uncommon, and common. But it was one of those packs that if you got it, you were like an immediate profit because any Lego was crazy. And so maybe I'm speculating and maybe I'm being a bit silly here. But if I see a legendary pack on an advert and I clicked on that and figured out I couldn't buy legendary packs, I might be a bit disappointed. So maybe they might bring legendary packs back. Have I figured it out? Have I just, is that big brain play from Jimbo, or am I just being silly?
The new marketing guy has just started, and you already figured him. Yeah,
I figured him out. I figured him out. It was a really good video, to be fair. Really good video. Oh, there is a clip in there of a AI generated manager speaking about. So basically, the premise of the advert is legendary pack is opened. This player comes out, signs to a club, and then there's like the manager is speaking about the player, like, oh, great to have him in, but he's like, he looks like a Liverpool manager because he's got like, the whole like red stuff on, and he's got the American voice as well. And I was so for some reason I just saw him and just immediately thought of Klopp, and then I heard the American voice and went, well, that's clearly not Klopp, is it? It wasn't Klopp. It looks nothing like Klopp. But when I see like a red, piece of, kit on, whatever, like clothing, I just think of Liverpool in that sense. And then it was showing the player being sold. I think it was a goalkeeper, 89 rated goalkeeper. But maybe legendary packs are coming back. Hopefully. Well, it'd be quite funny.
How expensive would they be now? Like
that's a really good question. How expensive would they be? without actually remembering how much they were last time, I want to say maybe 399 was when they cut out. I know if I had like 10 minutes now, I would just go onto Discord, search in the announcements channel for Legendary Pack, find the latest drop and see what it was. But I reckon they'd probably go for, I don't know, because the packs these days are a little bit like a rare pack, unless you get really good rating or really good age, they maybe seem like not great value. No. So maybe it might be something like 399 again, maybe 499.
I thought like
if you get a banger of a player, then it's maybe worth it. But
I think because the uncommon pack is 50 or the standard pack, and then it's triple for a rare, so I guess 450 because it's triple again. That's
that. Yeah. I mean, that would see in my eyes, they would still sell out, right? Because when they had it previously, it might have been like 5 packs they had open on there. People would buy them, right? But if they had them at 450, they'd probably still sell out because people love opening packs, right? And you got like a rare in there, you got a legendary player in there. And I think you got to remember you've got a rare in there as well, and the uncommon, etc. So, maybe 450, 499. Would I go for one if I had the chance? Probably not. It is a lot of money, if it's 4,500. But we are just speculating if they might not even be coming back in the first place. I might be overthinking things, but I think it's quite fun to speculate on if legendary packs are coming back to MFL. That'll be the clip. Are legendary packs coming back to MFL? Probably not, but who knows? Right, the Diamond League. We like to speculate. Another word. We're going to speculate a lot in this episode. We like to think who will win. And we had BigWilbert and Bob on the pod last week. And we said people will use the hashtag whoever you think will win Diamond. To which Bruce put hashtag MFC Roma or Fraj's Roma side. To which Fraj put like a love heart emoji to it. And then listened to the pod and went, I've just listened to the pod. I now know the context. Why have you suggested I'm going to win the league this season? So it's like, oh, I love you for suggesting me. Then he realised what it was for and was like, you're silly. But I love that from Bruce saying Roma win the league. Erik, a couple of questions. Do you tune into Diamond at all? And who do you think will win Diamond this season? If you had to put some money on it, who would your money be backing?
Well, first, I don't watch the games live. Like that's I do follow the league a little bit, like the standings and the scores. Try to keep up with it. So it was a pleasant surprise that Meta Mercenaries didn't win it.
Yeah, I know, right?
However, I really feel like he will come back even stronger this year and just go ham and just rip the league apart this time. Like,
it seems, I don't want to say it seems inevitable, because with how closely strengthed and competitive all these teams in Diamond are now, there's just something like, Ronan doesn't win a trophy last season and then he just goes, right, actually focus now. Can I let's get, let's go ham with this. So, I mean, so that you're predicting a Meta Mercenaries win for this season?
I would almost say he will win a double. He will also win the cup. Like, he will just be like one time no Diamond League. Now he just does a double to just make a statement. Like,
he was like, I'll just giving you a chance for a season, making you all think it was going to be a different winner for 2 seasons in a row. No. Titans Cup and the Diamond League all wrapped up by Ronan. That would be quite a statement, wouldn't it? So one thing I realised that this rollover day, we're getting more and more players retiring. I think Alexis, MFL assistant, posted how many players will be retiring over the next 3 seasons.
That's a lot.
And combined across the 3 seasons, something like 13, nearly like 13,500 players. I did the maths and added them up. That was one thing he was missing from us, was adding them all up, because people want to know over the 3 seasons. I'll do that. Over the 3 seasons, it's like 13,000 or so. But it's quite a few. I think maybe Fraj will know the number because he always checks and gives us updates on rollover day of all the retirement symbols coming in. I think maybe maybe at least 7 players have got hit. At least 7, maybe at least 10 ultimate players got hit with the retirement symbol, so they'll be retiring in at the end of season 12, which is season 12, yeah, 10, 11, 12, yeah, and which is quite scary. I think Bob got hit with 2, which I think is quite harsh.
That's unlucky.
His Coma, is it Coma? Yeah, his CDM or centre mid retired this season, and obviously whenever you get an ultimate player, I don't know what that feels like. I may never know what it feels like to have an ultimate player retire, but I can only imagine it's absolute pain. Spain without the S, as they say. So, yeah, a few ultimate players have, thrown up some more retirement symbols. This roll of a day, YungErik, were you hit with any players handing in their 3-season notice?
Yeah, I think two players of my better players in my agency have been hit with the yellow retirement symbol. Which is that one of them was growing quite well. In 2 seasons he went from 65 to 72, I think.
Oh wow, nice.
He was a decent grower. So I was quite sad that he would retire. Other than that, no major players have had the symbol. So,
how many players do you have in your agency? Do you know off the top of your head?
I think close to 110.
Okay, that's quite That's not. I think I have 130, and I think I got hit with 6 or 7. I think it was. I had one of them was an 84 rated player, which is kind of annoying. But the rest of them, none of that. My really big hitters, who I would cry if they got the retirement symbol. Fortunately, none of them have. Although it probably happens next year all at the same time, and I'm crying even more. That's my worst. That's the worst case, is that all my best players in the same season throw up the symbol, because then you're panicking, really panicking. But they do it steadily. You can try and plan it, but if suddenly you've got 6 players retiring, I've got 3 seasons. And I think Andrew Laird tweeted this, if a player you've got has now thrown up the retirement symbol, it's the middle of March. It's a long time, IRL, right? It's 18 weeks away, maybe even longer, because we've got the there's an extra week to season 10 because of the holiday hero stuff. So it's maybe even 19 weeks in that sense. And the market moves a lot. I think prices right now for players are quite nice. You want to pick up a player to maybe replace them. The older players can go for quite good value. So if you can maybe try and sell some reward packs or get some funds in, you can try and make some get some players in that way. One thing I never asked you, reward day. How did you spend your MFL? Are you saving it?
No. I had 11k, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I spent 10k on an uncommon pack because
how'd it go?
I got another center mid, 68 rated, 22-year-old. Was my best reward I've got in all the seasons I've played. Probably also because I've been quite unlucky. I've had a lot of 65 rated center backs.
Yeah, they're tough.
Yeah. But this time it was nice. He also is in my team now, so I really hope he has some form of progression in him.
Well, he'll at least be a 69. He'll go by at least 1. And he's got good age on him as well. I think it's about, if every season 6 weeks, it's roughly about 8.6 seasons to a calendar year. And if the earliest he can retire is 32, is the earliest he can retire at, that's 10 seasons. We're looking at March next year, March 2027, where he's going to stop playing. So that's plenty of time to get another player, until it's a week before he retires. I've known about this for 170 weeks. I'm not learning about it. But,
I did have my first retiree this last season. It actually felt sad. It's a 60 rated limited card, but I grew attached to him. He was in my weakest team every season.
Well, you always remember the first. Whether it's your first girlfriend, your first house, your first car, and your first MFL retiree. Mine's called Christopher Hammond, French winger. Because he's French, I don't mind him being retired. Sorry. Do you remember his name and his nationality?
Jorge Sequeira from Portugal. Like in this, I got him when we saw the animated players, and he had like gray hair and a really long gray beard. So that's I really hoped his real face would also be like that.
And it wasn't.
No, he
No.
became like like some Portuguese supermodel, like a Portuguese joy.
That's one of the things that the photorealism did take away. There were some really crazy sort of like attribute combinations for players. That some of them weren't at all connected to the nationality of that player. But you kind of wish that maybe some of it could have, like, if they had crazy hair, there's like a 10% chance that they still kept their hair. Because I look at some of my players now, I'm like, I don't even recognize you. I don't even, one of my favorite players. Well, he's not anymore because he's a bit of a fraud for progression reasons. But Reynaldo Romo, like Mexican, nice hair, facial hair, and now he just looks like he can't even lift 5 kg, up from the ground. I'm like, oh, this isn't the player. He's the oldest player in my agency, I think. I've had him since summer 2022. And I'm like, come on, over that time you've not used any weights. I know you're a winger and he can be a bit flimsy and a bit thin, but maybe a bit sad for some of those players that got changed. But that feels a long time ago now. That was only what, 4 or 5 months ago?
Yeah, I think less.
Yeah,
like in the summer. It was the summer, right. I think. Like,
yeah, it would have been because the Paris meetup in July, and then a couple of weeks after that. So yeah, end of July. Right, let's to the market moves. The air table is still down, so I cannot actually find out any sort of like who's bought most of the uncommons this week or etc. But I did manage to find what I hope is this week's splash of the week. This week, the player being purchased is Suleiman El Sayed, which to those who've been at MFL for a while, you will know that name. 96 overall, sold for $1,600. Age 32, left wing striker, right wing. So he can play across the whole front three, which is what makes him ridiculously powerful. He's from Saudi, so maybe he could go into your team one day. You wouldn't mind a 96 rate player, would you?
Like his last season, his last hooray back in his home country.
Yeah. I think that's perfect. Perfectly reasonable. Mate, well, when I tell you who bought him, pop him a message and see if he can sort you out. Pace 99, shooting 99, dribbling 99, passing 86, physical 88, and for those who care about defending, 55. Being sold by Hertha, Mr. I'm selling out every season for the last 17 seasons. We love you, Hertha. Being purchased by Sid, Los Galacticos manager. So he's bolstering up his team for season 10. I hope that's splash of the week because MFL tweeted about it. I didn't see the purchase happen at the time. So if anyone purchased anything more than $1,600, please let me know. And I apologize. But, we often ask our guests, is this good value? And I think it was it who, I can't remember who it was now, had a way of looking at it. It was like, if someone buys it for that, they think that's good value, right? So that's, and neither you or I, you might be an expert, YungErik, in evaluating ultimate players, are you?
I'm not really yet.
Yeah, I like that answer. Yet you'll become our Fabrizio Romano of ultimate players. Like, what would the slogan be for MFL Fabrizio Romano? Like, we can't say here we go. It's there we land.
Yeah.
If anyone could think of a slogan that the MFL Fabrizio Romano would say, let us know. I want to see people's suggestions. But yeah, congrats, Sid, on being this week's Splash of the Week. And YungErik would really like to have El Sayed play for his Saudi club at some point in his career.
What is his age right now?
He's 32.
Oh, that's I will see him at the next couple of seasons. I will.
It's funny you say that because obviously, the WenDirk community license is the whole podcast is inspired by Dirk Klassen, the ultimate player from the Netherlands. And I was trying to think, what will it take for him to be, for Dio, who manages him currently, to send him to the club for any length of time? And I think I've figured it out. So Dio, if you're listening, and I hope you are, because if you're not, I'm going to come message you in the next couple of seasons. When it's Dirk's last season, right? When it's his last season, if you're playing someone who you can beat on the first game of the season, can you let me use Dirk Klassen for one game so I can use it and have him in the WenDirk license? It would just be the best thing ever. And then after that match day, when the transfer window is still open, I send him back to you the next day after that 6-hour cooldown's gone. I think we can make that happen. If you're in Flint or in Spark and suddenly 95 rated Dirk Klassen comes up, and if he doesn't get a 10 out of 10, engine's broken. I think he's a 95 rated. I'm going to have to double check this because I need to make sure. I kind of do follow him a bit, but he used to have, like, what do we used to call it? How Dirk. We used to check in on how Dirk's doing. He just always used to get like 2 goals a season and 7 rating. He was the most boring player ever. He's a 95 rated. He's not hit the retirement symbol yet. So he should retire at 37, which means 6 seasons time. So we're talking maybe in his final season, he comes to play for WenDirk MFC for one game, like an exhibition match. One game. Come on, Dio. Let it happen. We're going to make it happen. I'm going to force you to make it happen. And then we'll play him at right mid, captain him, 97, and he'll just be a bit OP. He's only got 67 pace, though. He's a bit of a slow coach.
Yeah, unusable. Like
unusable in diamond. Bring him down to Flint. Flint. Unusable in diamond. Right, I couldn't even get up the trial club count because wonderful man is Alexis and his MFL assistant website. I couldn't get the figure to load on there either. I think there's been some things happening with servers and stuff across the weekend or whatever, which is a shame because I really want to see how many trial clubs we had. But maybe next week I can give you guys a weekly update on that front. IRL MFL quickly. The North London derby. Arsenal won 4-1. Eze scored a hat-trick. The first hat-trick since Alan Sutherland in 1978 to score a North London derby, which I think, or maybe for Arsenal, but that's pretty mad stat. Eze is such a baller, by the way. I think he's a tremendous player. I think he's got such class, and he moves around the pitch like he's taking the piss. He does. He looks like he tries, but he's also just playing with his mates at lunchtime. But he knows he's the best player. Or when a professional footballer comes to play, with a bunch of random people, and you can tell straight away they're top class. He's doing that against other Premier League teams, which he was unreal to watch. YungErik, you said your team PSV won. PSV, the club that's got Perisic this season, right?
Yeah.
Is that Perisic? Yeah. Is he still doing all right?
He's like his last season. He was like really important for us to win the title in the end. This season his goal assist contribution is not as high. He gave an assist on Saturday though, but he's still you see that he's really important still. Like just as a player, like as a figure in the squad. But you also see that he's like 36 or 37, like especially like in the Champions League games. Sometimes you like we play Liverpool on Wednesday. I really wonder what it will be like.
Well, Liverpool are a bit shaky.
Yeah, they are
losing to Forest 3-0.
If we could ever get 3 points at Anfield, it would be this time, I think.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. The thing I love about social media, right, is that you get these big influencers who do like live streams of when their football team was playing, and when a big result like Nottingham Forest beating Liverpool 3-0 at Anfield happens, you get some great clips of these fans absolutely losing their minds. Get him out the club now. Fucking get him out the club. Like you get these unbelievable clips. You know, they're demanding Arne Slot out. I know they've been playing badly, and the results haven't been going their way. But like, maybe it's just me. The entitlement to say Arne Slot out, and bear in mind, I don't watch every Liverpool game. A Liverpool fan might say, you know, he should be going. You know, we've just signed a new player, a new manager, Norwich, Philippe Clement. And we lost our first game 4-1 to Birmingham. So, you know, that he only had 2 days training. We've got Oxford on Tuesday and QPR on Saturday. If we lose both of them, then he should be sacked as well. But what I want to talk about actually in this bit was internationals, because we've recently had the international break with the World Cup qualifiers across the globe. And there was some really amazing events that happened over this last 2 weeks. It's the next international break is March, thankfully. But actually, I've seen some people say, is this the best week of the season so far because of how many great moments happened? We had Ireland and Troy Parrott, propelling, Ireland into the playoff matches for the World Cup. Troy Parrott with the last minute goal against Hungary. They should have never been in a position to even make it out of the group, so that's great for them. Haiti have made it in. The size of Haiti as a nation. Andy, official, was on here 2 weeks ago. He's from Haiti. He was buzzing. Fun fact that I saw, the Haiti manager has never stepped foot in Haiti before, which I think is a crazy stat. You had, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, Curacao. Yeah, they made it for the first time in their history, which everyone has already joked that England are going to get both of them in their group stage in the World Cup. That's just how it goes. We're going to get one of them. That's just what the luck of it is. And as well, you have Scotland, who, go and beating Denmark, and Scott McTominay with an absolutely unbelievable goal. Was it Kieran Tierney with a sublime goal, and then my man, Mayor of Norwich, Kenny McLean, popping up from inside his own half and scoring a goal, an amazing goal to seal Scotland's, place in the World Cup next year in North America. I actually, have no clue how the Dutch have done. How do they do in this group for the World Cup qualifiers?
Well, we qualified quite easily. Like the toughest opponent we had was Poland. We drew to them twice because, well, we've got Ronald Koeman as as the coach. Like it's extremely boring, I think. Like we played Lithuania the last game. We won 4-0, but I was watching it, but like those games you're watching, but you're more looking on your phone or on your laptop than you're actually watching the game because it's just boring.
Every England qualifier, basically. Every England qualifier. We play Andorra every single year, it seems. And we think we only won. We beat them like quite recently, like 4 or 5-0. And then when we played them in the first game, we only won like 1-0. But I think we won all the games. We didn't concede a goal, which is a crazy achievement, like not to concede a goal. But our best team, I think, we had was Serbia or Albania.
Yeah, Serbia always disappoints. I feel like
they should have a good. They should have a good team, I think. But they always don't seem to really perform to how they probably should. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the World Cup next year. Though I didn't realize how big a tournament it is. They've increased the size of the teams. I was looking down the list and went, there's still more teams to qualify. That list is so long, and the reason this all wraps around MFL because everyone's going, you're getting off topic here a bit, Jimbo. I think it shows how much people love international football and like the amazing moments that it can create. And, Bosco, the Bosco company was always, internationals. I was always bantering for it. When internationals. But I think watching what happened this week, and I know it's IRL and it's nothing to do with MFL, but something about it, you know what? I'd really love, I hope they do for the World Cup, do like international, but I love them to bring international into MFL. I just think, not sure how it would work, and that's the same with most ideas we will have. Not sure how it would work, but would love to see it. Would you be a fan of internationals, MFL, YungErik?
Yeah, 100%. I don't think my players would make it necessarily right now. And they have to add a lot of new nations, I think, and new players from new nations.
Yeah.
And are they going to, like, right now, like, when I look up teams, you always see the national teams that already exist for the Euros. Like, I wasn't there, but It does exist, right?
We
Is it
don't
not
talk
popular?
about the Euros. No,
Okay.
no. Well, it was a really popular event. I don't talk about it because I managed England and
Or be wrong.
yeah, I didn't make it out of the group stage. Against who do we have in the group? Serbia. I lost 7-2 to Serbia in the first game. That was the engine. Lost 7-2 I lost to Serbia. I had Denmark, and then who else did we have in the group? I can't remember now.
I can't remember either.
But yeah,
some easy
but the event was really fun though. But I think maybe someone, Bruce, suggested it in an Ideas episode a couple of weeks ago. Maybe having it with like caps, so there's like different scales of World Cup, so like different managers can still get involved. I think you'd have to put the main season on pause. I don't think you'd do it in the pre-season, but you'd stretch out the pre-season. I don't think you could fit it all into like a week, because the Euros tournament, which kind of, it was all the games were played after the IRL ones happened. So it's like, you've watched all your Netherlands playing, your England's playing, and then you go watch the England game half an hour later in MFL. Obviously, we would want something more regular than that into the system. But it was like, every 10 seasons we're going to get international. Maybe not as infrequent as that, but like every 6 let's go every 4 seasons. Keep it with like the 4-year World Cup theme. I think it's like a World Cup would work best. But you're right. Nationalities, countries would need to be implemented. They had to bring in a couple new countries because there was no Georgia, no Albania, and no Greece in MFL at the time of the Euros, and those were 3 nations that were in it. So we had to like bring them in. There was no clubs at that point, but it was just the players. But yeah, if it happens, maybe when it happens, would you put yourself forward to be the Dutch manager?
Oh, of course, like I easily do better than Ronald Koeman does in real life. I'm not a big fan of Koeman. I think that's the main thing. But well, if people would ask me, I would always be up for it. But am I the greatest tactician? I don't know, but
clearly not, because I feel like I banter myself, and I'm probably worse than you when it comes to tactics. So if you can do better than 7-2 against Serbia,
I hope so.
Then yeah, I hope most people could do better than losing to Serbia 7-2. But it was a lot of fun though. I'd love to see internationals in the game.
And the players are of course like quite rating wise quite close to each other, like not in real life where England just has a better team than most countries.
Yeah, so in the Euros it was a bit like that, but obviously because the population pool for players in MFL is done by like the country's ranking, so you're going to get more English players than Romanian players, for example. So you're going to have, because there's more players who are English, there's a higher probability you're going to have better players. So there were some teams that were not considerably better, but you look on paper and go, the Germany, England, your Frances, your Spains had better players across the whole starting 11 than your Romanias, your Albanias, your Georgia. But it was like a fun way to earn MFL as well. So you could like basically invest in a nation, and then depending on how many like say shares you had in a nation, when they if they won a game, you got say your nation got 500,000 MFL or 50,000 MFL, and if you had 5% of the shares of Romania, you would take home 5% of 50,000. But what it meant is that there were some nations who weren't as invested as much because they wouldn't get far, but you could calculate like what's the best nation to invest in from a returns point of view. So it got very sort of mathematical and stat wise like that. But it was an extremely fun event, and I'd love to see them do it again. So MFL, I know you're watching. I know everyone suggests this. We've said it for time. When internationals, right. Before we get into your spotlight, YungErik. YungErik, just by the way, the name, like I want to say like young Padawan or YungErik. You said that Erik is because of a Dutch manager, right?
Yeah, it's well, like years ago during COVID times, we had like an online FM Football Manager save game, and Erik ten Hag was still manager at Ajax at the time, and he's also like a bit of a meme in the Netherlands, but not because he's a bad manager, or allegedly is. But because of like when he talks Dutch, it's like a certain accent from the eastern part of the country, and I would always try to imitate it a bit. But then to teach them FM because they were newer to it than me, I call myself YungErik as like I was Erik ten Hag basically, and teaching the others to how to be tactically smart.
Did your friends become tactically smart as well? Did you teach them well?
Yeah, well, they were like quite good. Like the save game was really cool because we were like 15 seasons in an online save game.
Oh wow!
Because we had too much time because COVID lockdown.
Yep.
Like and the whole storylines that unfolded, and we all won the league. Like all of us won the league basically at some point. We moved clubs to all different leagues. It was great, and they probably became better than I did in the end.
Well, that's how, you teach the young Padawans and they eventually become the masters. So that's how they have that system in Denmark where a lot of the older, more experienced managers who have won trophies, been there, done that, then become the assistant managers for the younger managers as a way of being able to teach them. I know that the old Norwich manager, Thorup, he had Glenn Riddles, a name I can't pronounce, right? But he had like won the Danish division like a couple of times, and now he's an assistant manager. So it's like they don't, it's sort of like they teach their ways to the younger managers. Right. Let's dive into our manager spotlight and put the spotlight on yourself, Mr. Young Ten Hag.
Wow.
We always ask our guests what's the MFL story? Like, take us back to the beginning. How did you first come across MFL, and so what made you want to jump into the game?
Well, the first time I saw MFL, as I think by some tweets by Nepenthes, I followed him on Twitter for quite a long time.
Yeah.
And I saw some tweets, and at first I didn't really look into it. I was like, it's something new. I don't know. I kind of ignored it. And then later on, I think he posted something about a player's progression or something. And that was like, oh, that's interesting. And I saw like the card, and I think the animated card kind of put me off a bit at first.
Mm-hmm.
But then I was like, well, let's take a look at the website, the platform. And I thought it looked quite clean. But then I made an account and I just looked on it, and then I watched some of Nep's videos. Like he had like 4 or 5 videos at a time. I watched them, and then I was like, oh, this is like, it felt like something that was made for me. Like a mix between like Football Manager and a bit of Ultimate Team, and I'd say So Rare somewhere, not the fantasy part, but like the whole like economics part.
Yeah, I'd say the economy part to it. Yeah.
I think the combination of those 3 things, I was like, well, this is made for me. Then I sent it to a friend of mine who was also into these things. And he was immediately like, oh, this is really cool. And then we basically both bought a club. Like he is called Boulder Car. He's been in the streams and the quizzes as well.
Yeah, both of you. You guys always, I have to count how much MFL you guys have won from the quiz. I think he won this. Did he win this week as well?
No, yeah, he won. He was like 1 place below me in the quiz, I think.
You came 10th and he came 12th, so you both won 6 years MFL. Look at you. I bet you're there. Are you there to? Is he friend and your IRL friend? Yeah.
Yeah.
Does he live close by? Do you bring the stream up together and tell each other you're on the phone? It's the blue one. It's the blue one. It's a rare player's blue, but it's not the green one.
We're always texting like during the whole stream about everything that happens, and then the pack drop itself. Like
I love that. So. You said you played FM with some friends during COVID. Has all like the Ultimate Team, So Rare been something? Do you still play So Rare now? Do you still play FIFA now, sort of thing?
Well, FIFA, I've bought the new FIFA, like FC 26 again, but I'm just not as good as I used to be back in the great days. Like FIFA 17, 18 was like my prime as like performance level.
That was your prime age.
Yeah, like now I'm like I can't get past Division 7 anymore, and I don't think I've played a game in like over a month now. So where I've just started back up again a bit, like very. I don't have put a lot of money in it because I don't really want to, but now I get to watch Austria win games with some extra excitement.
But yeah, so you definitely have a sort of. I feel like you're one of the managers who MFL was perfectly sort of like built for, where it's got that ultimate team style, like the cards. I think they're very ultimate team like in their design. The progression and the managerial sides from an FM point of view, and then the whole sort of like NFT economy piece is so rare. So you've kind of hit like all three like precursor games that sort of make you understand MFL a lot better, basically. Beginning of the episode, we spent about how your week was for season 10 so far. Season 9, how was that for you?
Well, yeah, I had 3 clubs. The best one was in Stone. I just got promoted from Ice to Stone, like basically by accident. I won the playoffs. Like I don't even know how I won it, but it happened. But it was going to be a struggle. I had to load in like a lot of players because my agency just wasn't ready for a Stone club, because the level on Stone is quite high. The jump between Ice to Stone is big.
Yeah, I've definitely noticed that. I've got a team that came up to played their first season of Stone last season, managed to stay up, but I was like, oh, Stone's a bit different to how it was about 5 seasons ago. Like the caliber of player you need now is like, some cases you need like a full low end rare team, or a couple of rares and uncommon, but it's definitely a lot. That was it's a lot more competitive now in Stone.
Yeah, it was hard. Like I finished 9th, so I had to play in the playoffs, and then but before that I already decided, I'm going to sell this club no matter what the result will be, because I want to go back to 2 clubs too, because I feel like it's better for my agency as a whole, and for what I want with it. But then I lost the playoff game as well. Like I conceded 2 penalties and a red card. Like I don't think I've been more unlucky ever than in that game.
Yeah.
But in the end, it didn't even really matter. Like maybe a Stone club, like even the Stone and Ice clubs are basically the same value as well. So
yeah. Did you sell it before rollover day, or as season 10 already started?
No, after. I think I put it up for sale before, but it sold after rollover day. So lucky me, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. And is there anything from season 9 which you've learned or will do differently for season 10? We're going to keep the same engine. Which, are you happy with the engine being the same for season 10? Were you okay with season 9's engine?
Well, yeah, for my main team now in Melbourne, I won my Spark division like invincible. I won every game outside of one, which I drew.
Nice.
So I really like the fact that the engine is the same. That I can just play the same tactic, and I'm very confident I will at least finish like 5th or something, which is fine for now. And slowly build to a strong Ice team. Or poor Stones team, preferably.
So you won't do much testing this season because you know that tactic for that club works.
Yeah, I don't think I've really played like maybe one friendly or something with my first team. With my second team, I've played a bit more, just to test the new tactic.
Yeah, if the engine was changing season 10, would you be doing pre-season testing? Are you one of those managers who does a lot of testing before the season, or do you just tweak when the season starts?
I would have definitely played some friendlies, like always against like Bouldercar's teams, because they are very similar as one level, and it's he also plays a lot of friendlies against my team. I think if you look at my recent games, like 10 games against his main team, he did, which is stronger now than my team, so he won a lot of them now. But like a lot, I would test it. I would tweak things. I would like little things. I think formation wise, I would stay the same, because I believe my formation, like the 4-3-3 with a defensive midfielder, is strong. maybe I would tweak some things. I would mostly cater towards specific qualities of players. If a player has really high dribbling, I would just dribble more, and might be a bit broken. So like they have like 50 completed dribbles in a game, and I'm like, I'm not sure if that's supposed to be like that, but yeah.
Do you what was I going to ask? When you're doing testing against Bouldercard, do you guys talk quite a bit in like sort of like tell each other what your tactics are, so you can say, right, if I know he's going to be running a high line, so let me try and build something that counters that. Do you guys talk quite often on that sort of front?
We give like tips. I think last season I won every single friendly, even though the teams were quite similar in strength. But I won every time because he had like he played a very high line, but then with two center backs with like 30 pace both, and I have a striker with 80 pace, and I just long ball, and I had a big chance every single time. So I was like, well, maybe you should drop your line a bit and like give tips. And I would look at the statistics, see that his left mid and right mid would lose the ball every single time. Like, or maybe change your individual restrictions a bit more. Like, so we give each other tips if we see something in the engine
that is a great friend. That's a great friend. Would it be the same if you were in the same cup group stage or the same league? Would you would you maybe give some advice, but tell him the wrong advice? Maybe bluff.
I tell him to play every 30 pace centre back, like a 3-back with 30 pace centre backs, push them to the into midfield.
Yeah. Would you consider him to be like a rival in the game then, like a natural rival, because he's your friends?
I think it would be really. I think a rival a bit, yeah, but also like I would love it if we were in the same cup or league. Even league would be even better. But yeah.
Do you have any rivals in the game, or maybe managers who you're like you play against? They're in the same league as you. You're like, oh, I hate playing against you.
I've never talked to those people, but me and BigWilbert together have like one rival. Because he was first in his league and he constantly beat him. And now when I promoted to Stone, he suddenly was in my Stone division as well. The team was called Crooked Tower Guardians.
See who's got this.
I think he got relegated as well, but he was like or like unspoken rival. We've never talked to or.
Crook Tower God, yeah, DQS Smooth, yeah. Funny enough, he was someone who maybe it's just that he was free to come onto the pod today as well. So maybe that's fate that you've taken the spot, because I think he lives in Australia, and he was like, it's a friendly Australian time, and that's when I said, got someone on the pod, but maybe that's good to know for the future though, to bring him on. So I think it's quite funny that that's the person you said you've got a bit of an unspoken rivalry against, and he's also someone who was thinking about coming on the pod today as well. But yeah, I always find it interesting, rivalries, you can build that history, that fierce rivalry against other managers. I don't think people really speak about it much. So for those listening right now, if you go into the YouTube, comment section or the WenDirk Discord, let us know who your biggest rivals are. Maybe if you're bold enough in Discord, tag them and go, you're my biggest rival. I think it's, there's a couple of managers I play against. I'm like, I hate playing against you. Like I can't. Like if to be fair, nowadays anyone who plays a 4-2-4, I'm like, 4-2-4 just is. It means I have to change my 3-5-2-B basically, and I just don't want to change away from my 3-5-2-B. But I'm arrogant and stubborn. I don't want to change from it. So is that the only sort of rival you say you've got, or is there a couple of others as well?
I think everyone else I wouldn't consider rivals. Like, of course, people who you're like in the league with for a longer time because you don't get promoted and they don't. Like you get used to them, but yeah, it's just like Norwich playing QPR every season. Like, are you rivals? Like, yeah.
You you're both that bad. You stay in the same division for so long. You're like, right, what are we doing here, guys? Like, are you both in the middle of the table? You're doing nothing. But yeah, so right, let's go on to the next thing I wanted to ask you. Like, your goal to play MFL, people love to build up agencies, focus on progression, focus on getting to Diamond Division like Bob we had on last week with Big Will. When we first had him on, and it was like, I don't know, like March, April, maybe even May. He was like, I just want to win and I want to get to Diamond. He was so close to winning Diamond last season. I think he even said this season he's predicting himself, which I love the absolute, the confidence and the big headedness to suggest to yourself that he's going to win. I absolutely love that from him. So he's got Diamond ambitions. What are your long-term goals in MFL, if you have any?
Well, Diamond ambitions, not yet. I think that's like a bit too far for me right now. Like, it's a big investment, I think, as well.
Oh yeah.
Which I'm still like I'm still in university. Like might be different than most people who might.
What
be
are you studying?
Full-time. I'm studying public governance.
Public governance. Wow.
Yeah, it's about how to govern, like how governments work. Like.
Okay. Is it a little bit? I was gonna say. I'm trying to think because I've never heard of that as a degree before. But if Calver was here and he said that, I would 100% think that's something that Calver would say. That's something that Calver would say. I think you might have to call you young Calver. You've got amazing hair like him as well. And do you love history?
I sort of do. Yeah, I'm interested.
Young Calver. But you actually support a club in the Netherlands, whereas he supports like 6 different teams.
Yeah, that's
he's on the fence. Well, I can't deal with that. Public. How much longer you got in your studies?
I've just started my master's degree now, so that's
congrats, huge.
1.5 years.
Wow.
Still, yeah.
So when you have to do a presentation next, your last slide will be, and here's my referral link to MFL.
MFL,
yeah.
My podcasting debut, like it will be like.
You'll walk into the lecture theatre and you'll be on. They'll put you on the big screen. There's our public governance student. There he is, young Erik. They're going to call you like Mr. Young Erik now. You're going to be called the young Ten Hag of the university. But no, anyway, we went on a sidetrack there. Love that though. I miss my uni days. I'd love to go back to uni. Studying geography. Right, where were we? Oh, your MFL goals. You're still studying, which is why Diamond, you can't drop in $20,000 right
now. No. I hope one day maybe if I have the money to spend.
Do you have prime ministers in Netherlands? Is it?
There's a prime minister. Yeah, we've got a prime minister. Yeah.
So when you become prime minister,
basically, yeah, that's when I.
Why are you not sorting out these problems in the country?
Yeah.
Well, I'm now in a pivotal game to win my Diamond League in MFL in season 52. And then you could really farm the referral links, just public broadcast. You're at your podium speaking to the country. QR code, scan this QR code now and sign up. And if you spend $25 on packs, you get a free common player. Anyway, yeah, go on. Continue.
Yeah, so that's not like I would really like to have like for the next like 10 seasons to create like a stable stone club, maybe even a good stone club with a good ice team, and later I will buy a third club again which is like stone flint, where I can just like lower rated prospects, I want to put them in there. Because I've noticed that if I loan out players I think have good growth in them, I'm always disappointed that they don't play enough, or the manager stops playing halfway through the season because I loan it out to a trial club. And
it's the trust the process way where he just doesn't trust anyone else to look after his players as well as he would, so he just doesn't loan many players out because he's like, well, I could do better. I'll give them like the perfect conditions because he has over 2,000 players and XYZ. He can give them the perfect conditions to train in, to play in, etc. So he's like, I'll just do it myself. Fine, I'll do it myself. Which is whoever. Is that Thanos who says? Who is it says that? Is it Thanos? No, it's definitely not Thanos. It's definitely. I'm gonna have to go. It's definitely not Thanos who says that. No, it is Thanos. It is Thanos. I don't know why I was tripping myself. It is Thanos who says, fine, yeah. Sorry, another side tangent. So you want to sort of cement yourself with that stone team and then build up from there.
And basically create an agency that's kind of, well, not fully, because I don't think that's directly possible, but like more of like a self-sufficient agency. So that growth through my clubs to my main club.
Yeah.
If it's possible, I'm not completely sure in the end, but that would be like my main goal, to have a somewhat self-sufficient agency.
I think a lot of managers' goals is to
Yeah.
either self-sufficient or like sustainable, and I do think you have to be quite disciplined with it. And I know that Les on his show this week, he had Ryan on there again, and they were talking a bit about it there. And what does it mean to be sustainable? Is it from like a money point of view? Is it from churning in players without having to buy any more in? What is your take on sustainability? And I think even BigWilbert last week on the pod, he is now in the green in terms of return from MFL, and he's been in the game for like over 3 years. So and obviously he's doing it at a huge scale up in Diamond, where it's big money, right? But I feel like one of the opportunity costs of trying to be sustainable might be you lose, it's tough to be really sustainable and have a lot of club success as well. Because if we're talking sustainable, it means in like IRL terms, which I hate to use to compare everything with MFL, it's your best players, you sell them and move them on. And if you sell your best players, you become a worse team. So you're not as good. Obviously, that's a bit different in MFL, but that's kind of the premise for the most part in IRL. So maybe the opportunity cost, which is a great phrase, is you just lose on success. But hopefully, not in your case, Mr. YungErik. And what I wanted to ask you next was, you said young Erik Ten Hag. How would you describe your tactical approach in MFL? Do you play a particular way? You don't have to reveal everything,
Well,
in case Crooked Tower Guardians are listening. I think it's Charles. Charles might be listening, to be fair, so he might be writing his notes right now.
Yeah, he's now like, who is this guy? Why is he my rival suddenly? Yeah.
I really like him. I think he's a really great guy when I play against him. He thinks I'm his rival. But yeah, how would you describe a tactical approach?
Well, like I said, I play always like a 4-3 with defensive mentality. It's a bit Dutch approach, I think. PSV also plays it kind of, and I think I kind of mimic what we play. Like I want my left centre mid always to be like one with good passing, and the right centre mid to be in my head more of a box-to-box midfielder. Is that really possible right now? I'm not sure, but I in my head he is.
Yeah.
And the DM always has to be like very just defensive and not necessarily a great passer. And I always want like that structure to stay the same, basically. I would love to play extremely high possession football, but I notice when I play direct, I'm just win more games.
Yeah.
So that's what I do right now, because I still want to win.
Sometimes I feel like there's a conflict in your head. I know I have it, where I want to play football this way, but I know I'll get better results if I kind of play the opposite.
Yeah, that's.
I really want to have controlled. I mean, I adapt the players for it. That's totally a reason, but like I want to play controlled, stupidly high line, gegenpress, like never let the opponent breathe. But all they got to do is play direct over the ball, and I'm absolutely done for. And they do. So I have to play differently, but I don't want to play differently. I want to play controlled. I want to play how I would like football to be played, in a world where all my players aren't 84 rated bozos. They are 99 rated ultimates. I don't have, well, there's not 99, but 98 rated ultimates. So in your ideal world, you'd like to play a little bit differently, but you found a way that works for you and your club, and you stick with that.
Yeah, basically, like if I could, I would have like 75% possession every single game and just dominate that way. But right now, with the current engine, it might be possible if you have got the completely right players for it, but I don't, so I just play direct. So if anyone in my league is listening, I don't think it's a big surprise, but yeah.
Do you in your MFL career, are there like any sort of games that stick out in terms of like, a heartbreaking loss or like a biggest win? Do you like have you been in a cup final before?
No, I think a semi-final. Like I've had one season, I think it was season 8 or 7. I had all 3 of my teams get eliminated in the cup through penalties.
Oh,
Like I've never won a penalty shootout in MFL ever.
really? That's a crazy stat.
I think it was all three were on the same day. I think as well. Like they were all in succession. I lost the penalty shootout. I was like after the third one, it was happening, and I was like,
That's not my day.
No, I already knew it. I was going to lose that one because
it goes to penalties. You're like, I've lost it already.
Yeah,
I'm just going to turn it off, and then maybe if I refresh in like 5 minutes, I'll have an extra game in my schedule for the cup. But I know they won't be there. Maybe this season will be the season you you either win on penalties, or you win the cup. Maybe win the cup on penalties. That would be the real. That's the ultimate dream, right? Do you tweak tactics match on match?
Not really. Sometimes I do, especially like in the cup last season. I remember I played I lost a game, like first game in the cup I lost like 6-0, and I was like, what's going on here? So the second game I played against that same guy, I changed my formation and I won it. So I was like, oh, I'm a tactical genius now. But
yes, masterclass.
So sometimes I do, but I generally just play my own game, I guess.
I like that. Right, this is always a juicy question. If you were the MFL CEO for one day, if you were in Matarun's shoes, what would you prioritize or change? What would you do basically so this is actually really good because your masters and what you're studying, this is a little bit, you got some insider information on, no, not insider information. You've got some first-hand knowledge on how to, maybe not the public, but we'll assume the public is the MFL and the community. What would you do if you're MFL CEO for a day?
Well, the first thing I do, I think it's more of a general thing. I would make the deadline for registration just Monday 9 a.m. because it gets delayed every time. Like
that, I see why they do it, because it's like it always I'm the same. It always gets extended, but it's like you make that the norm, so then people go, people will go, I've got to do it for Sunday. I've only got half an hour left. Oh, it's extended. Oh, cool, got another day. But I think then, in my head, it's the outcome or the process that results in the least amount of people complaining there wasn't enough time, because you go, we extended it for you and you were still late. But if you do it on Monday and you give it a hard deadline, people will go, yeah. But I do agree. Just keep it firm.
Yeah, it's
stop all or nothing, black or white, offside. Although VAR not quite black and white.
It's a bit comical that they every single season it is delayed to the same moment, like.
And there it is. No.
What else? I would love, for me personally, like more tactical depth. I guess they are also working on that. I'm pretty sure that they want that as well. Just the thought of like my left back moving into midfield when we're attacking, or being able to tell my left mid and right mid if when I played 3-4-3, to stay wider, but then my left wing and right wing to stay a little bit more narrow. Those tweaks I would like really love, and that I hope that's something that they will do. I think I could also differentiate like actual people who are good at tactics with, well, people who are not that good at tactics.
Yeah, a bit more depth in that tactic piece there. I think a lot of people probably in the same boat as you. Anything else in that day you try and get done or try and lead?
I like the more like the player builds, if that's correct. Like if I have a 6'6" striker, I want him to be like very good in the air, and of course I can't see it now in 2D, but like be able to more focus my play around like physical features of players.
A kind of a bit like player roles. So if someone's like a tall striker, they're like a target man.
Yeah,
that
basically,
sort of thing.
yeah. And if I have like a centre mid who is great passer, just make him like more of like a playmaker, move more like a playmaker. It sounds really FM-y now, but like
if you could do, if you got to play with like
Yeah.
high pace and high physical, you could put him as like a box to box midfielder because he's got the physical to support that.
Basically.
It's all giving. Yeah, it'd be like FIFA. I can't call it FC whatever. I never bought it since it was called. It's always FIFA in my eyes. They have it with like particular traits or player roles or profiles or something like that. Yeah, I would happily I'd happily support as a community member if you were a CEO. I'd happily support all those changes. I think your degree and masters is working wonders. And anything else you'd do, or keep it at those three?
Well, that's one thing. It's more of like discussion point, I think.
Yeah, go
I
on.
was looking at it today, and it's discussed a lot of times, I think, about like the reward structure. Like,
Okay.
I was looking at it today, and to me, it's really weird. And maybe you have a different opinion. I hope you have a different opinion. That you can win iron, move into bronze, but your rewards will not even generate like a player that's eligible for bronze if you were to spend your MFL you earned with that club in a season, which to me sometimes feels a bit weird.
Yeah. So there's 2 points on this. The reward structure did get changed in about season 2, maybe season 3, season 4, because how it used to work was that if you came first in a division and you got promoted, you would have to get to about like 9th or 10th spot to earn at least the same amount. So you had situations where people would like hit the playoffs and then tank the playoffs because they'll earn less MFL because they knew they would just get relegated straight away. If they got promoted and then got relegated straight away, they would earn less MFL than coming third 2 seasons in a row. Obviously, it's quite a lot of effort to come third 2 seasons in a row because you've still got all those games ahead of you. Whereas going up and then relegating, it's very easy to relegate yourself. You just play badly. You just ruin everything, right? And off the back of that, the structure was changed. So I think if you come second bottom, you earn the same amount of MFL. Basically, it means that if you go up, unless you come bottom, you earn the same, if not more, MFL. So it kind of removes that bit. Obviously, the bit you're kind of on about is, do those rewards actually pay out and reflect the quality of player in those divisions? No, I think everyone could agree they don't. But I can imagine it's quite difficult to. Well, it's like let's go a bit more country governing a country here, sort of thing. It's like MFL are the central bank, and MFL is a reward as a currency. You could release more MFL and devalue your players, which probably pisses off everyone. But I think us, the community, have like made that happen by strength creep, by us. Everyone wants to win, and how do you win? You get better players, and everyone does that down the pyramid. I mean, I look at Iron. When Iron season 1, I think I got promoted coming third place. I had like 3 or 4 rares in Iron. And I had, a couple of uncommons still in my bronze team in season 2. You have an uncommon in bronze now? See you later, mate. Done for. You're not even going to survive in Iron. You may just about survive in Stone with like full uncommons, maybe, depending on your league. If not, it's definitely Ice for you. I think, and I hope that when these bigger retirements come in, there's a more volume of them, we sort of see that strength and the overrules across divisions kind of drop a little bit, and then maybe do the rewards kind of match up. But yeah, I do agree. If I get promoted into silver, I need legendary players. Can I afford legendary pack with? No, I can't. So I think it's a really difficult one for them to manage. They could just increase rewards by 50%. They increased it by 15%. What was it? Season 5, season 6, something like that. It was even lower, would you believe? But I do agree they don't match up. But I I don't know
Yeah,
what can
it's
be.
really
It's a
difficult.
difficult one.
Yeah,
It is balancing an economy effectively,
yeah,
and not devaluing current assets. And I think MFL have always made that. Well, it would obviously devalue them, but Matt's always made it clear that any sort of like economical changes within the game should not impact current owners. Like if you change, they brought the retirement age down of players from 37 to 35 on average, but it didn't impact any of the players up until that change, because you can't move the goalposts for someone during their career. You can move it at the start, no 35. You can't be unfair to change someone's average age for retirement from 37 to 35 midway through their career, because the user's been told it's this. I mean, albeit in politics that happens all the time, but yeah. What do you have any idea how that could be fixed? I guess with maybe do we just have to change our expectations and they increase rewards and we just live with it? Do we increase rewards by X amount but increase reward packs? Because I've always said reward packs will always stay the same. It's a really
yeah.
tough one to balance, right?
It's really difficult, of course. But yeah, you don't want to give like too much as well. Like I've that like the other side of it would also be probably even worse. Like
Yeah.
it's like yeah, it's really difficult. Like especially the league winner, I feel like sometimes should be rewarded a bit more. Like yeah, but yeah, it's like, give him a player, I would almost say, but then it would be like also make it imbalanced. And what player do you give to someone who wins the league? Like what?
I think it's that. I know for me anyway, it's that bronze to silver step up, which I think iron to bronze is pretty bad, but or like in terms of how crazy it is. But I think bronze to silver is pretty big. We're looking at you know, for a rare player pack, the standard one, 47,000, right? Which if you do win, if you do well in bronze, consistently. Let me have a look at the bronze. Bronze is if you win, if it wants to load. Of course, MFL does not want to load. I'm pretty sure it covers that amount. It's 53,000. So if you finish first or second, you get enough to cover a rare pack. If you go to silver, you need to have basically for teams to stay up full on legendaries. And the price of a legendary pack is 325,000 or 250,000 for the lower range one, 85, 89, which would definitely be sufficient for silver. Yeah, and so you'd have to basically win bronze 5 times to get one of those packs. Could you argue you could buy 5 rare player packs in that time and get 84 rated players? Yeah, you could get lucky, but there are some step ups where you want the above the rarity and you can't. And I guess that's where things like loans become more prevalent, right? It's not always about owning the players yourself. You can go out on the loan market. I don't mind loaning and giving out an amount because I feel like I have to do that. The way I run my MFL teams, I can't afford to buy loads of legendary players. I have to loan in some, and you have to, no sacrifice, no victory in that sense. I know some people, I think it's Hoodwink, was like, I hate giving away my MFL. But he's like, I'm starting to get a bit used to it now. I think once you do it for a few seasons, is the loan market the answer to that? Because you give up the MFL, but then if you give up the MFL, you're never going to buy the pack anyway. Depending on how much you give, it's a very tough one. It's a very good debate, and I'd love to know the community's thoughts on that. Just their thoughts on the rewards, current structure. I think it's the strength of players in each division, which is
it's difficult. Like yeah, it's
you've got full 90s playing in like gold,
yeah,
even like silver. That's a platinum side, and it's crazy.
Like yeah, like I'm like Stone is basically last season was I had 8 or 9 rare starters, most of them loaned in, basically all of them. Well, I still got relegated in the end. Like it's like the top teams all have like 80 rated players around that rating. So it's or you need to make more investments, of course, that's which you can always do.
Yep, you can also that, yep.
But reward, technically, the only thing you can do is just win ice, sell your club, buy a new ice club, win ice again, sell your club, and
some people do that. I think, yeah, some people rinse and repeat that.
That's the only way you could eventually make rewards or the MFL you earn worthwhile.
Yeah. It says they've always said like the exceptionally well managed will be able to like sort of run sustainably, but I guess that's on the what's a good other term? Ceteris paribus. If all things remain equal, all other things remain equal. If rarities not followed the divisions, but if playing 84s in iron or even stone for some people, wasn't a thing, then maybe the rewards would make more sense. But that, I think we've also as a community got a part to play in that, and also there's a lot of players in the ecosystem, so there's more abundance of 84 rated players. And if you boom 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 boom, there's always a thing. If you get all the legendaries and all the rares, you could fill all the clubs down to like stone or something like that. So that's part of the supply thing. And maybe do we see now with less packs being offered? Do we see maybe in 10 seasons time or however long it is? Do we suddenly see actually the strength creepers? Has regressed and has gone the other direction, where now you do need it because rares are now rare, legendary is now really they're now really rare. Do we see a bit of a shock in some of those rarities? MFL environment changes quick, that's for sure. Anything else from a CEO for one day?
No, that's it for today. I think
that's it for today.
Yeah.
Right. Our final question for you then is our previous guests. It was OrangeFly and BigWilbert, and we kind of maybe alluded to it earlier. He said, what are your thoughts on tactical, and I added formation and familiarity. So should managers who stay consistent get a bonus, or is flexibility the way the game should be played? Because some managers will change every single matchup. Should they be penalised somewhat? What are your takes on that?
Well, for me personally, I play the same tactic all the time, so I would always be a pro familiarity. But I think like in a realistic world, a manager can't change his tactics every game, but at the same time, you tweak it towards the opposition's strengths. I think, like they watch games beforehand and analyze the opposition, so they change little things. So that might be like if you change complete formations, you should be punished a bit. Like but at the same time, like is it really that important? Like I would be pro familiarity, or like players who play a lot together in the same team get a connection.
Yeah.
Things like that, I would really like it, and would be an incentive to have the same squad for a longer time.
Yeah, like me owning all the players. That could be the downside to loaning in different. Because I find that I kind of may be impacted by that. I learn a lot of players and often have a third of my squad is different every season, and I have to learn how and get them to gel together sometimes. Understanding, should he play on the right side of the two CDMs? Should he be on the left? Does he play better when partnered with these players? That's perhaps more of the route to go down. Managers do like changing their formations, not so drastically, but they do kind of adjust tactics each game depending on who they're playing, but maybe just not on the scale that we see it. But maybe we don't know. We're not inside the minds of you might ask Erik Ten Hag, and he might say, yes, I do change my formations every match, but we just don't see it. So you sort of would be for it, but maybe not on the extent of sort of like a formation or tactical, maybe like a player familiarity sort of side.
Yeah, like that. And not necessarily punish people directly for changing too much. I think that's the main thing.
Yeah, that's a bit harsh.
Yeah.
And then, do you have a question for our next guest, whoever that may be?
Well, I think I have got a decent question. If you had like full access to everything that's behind the scenes right now, which we can't see, and yet like one brief moment you can take a look at anything in the game, what would you look at to have like the biggest advantage for the next season?
I feel like I know what people are going to say. That's a great question. Not heard that one before. That's a great question. I won't give my answer. I'll give my answer next week. I always have to try and resist not answering it, because then that spoils the question, because then whoever's answering it gets to hear someone else's answer first. But no. Is there anything else you would like to mention before we round up this episode?
No, there isn't really. No.
Awesome. Right. Hashtag of this week, because YungErik here, his name is after Erik Ten Hag, and try to play like him, that sort of thing. I want people's hashtag to be the manager that they try to imitate their tactics for an MFL. Like we all have a manager who we like. We always want to try and play like Pep Guardiola. We want to play like, Jurgen Klopp. We all want to play like the Jose Mourinho, those big managers. Hashtag, then whoever the manager is, you try to imitate and play off. In before someone says, like, I don't know, some people might put Sean Dyche, Sam Allardyce. They want to play simple football. You go away to Anfield and you win 3-0, and it works. There we go. So you would be hashtag Ten Hag then. Is that what you would say?
Or Peter Bos, you know him? Peter Bos? He's the current PSV manager. Like,
has he been anywhere previous to PSV?
He's been at Ajax as well, like Lyon, Leverkusen.
How do you spell his surname?
Bos.
Z. Yeah. Gotcha. Oh, is it Leverkusen? I feel like maybe when he was at Leverkusen, I recognised him.
At Dortmund as well. Yeah, he was there as well.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Interesting. Honestly, I haven't got a clue who I'd put for mine. I want to say maybe Pep Guardiola. I want to go hashtag Daniel Farke. All the Leeds fans are going to be absolute raptures after me saying this, because I think they hate Daniel Farke. But yeah, hashtag whoever you think, or whoever's your manager that you try and imitate in MFL. YungErik, thank you so much for coming onto the pod at such short notice and basically volunteering yourself as well. Thank you for coming on today.
It was a pleasure. Yeah.
Awesome. So you got the hashtag there. Make sure you're registered, even though you should already be, and probably by the time you listen to this, it's too late. Make sure you've done your kit rebranding. By the time you listen to this, it's too late. So I've either made your day because you remembered and you've not got to pay again, or I've just ruined your week already because you've realised you need to make changes and you've now got to pay for it. So without further ado, thank you all so very much for listening. We'll catch you this time next week for another episode of the WenDirkCast. Thank you for listening. Bosh.